here and now. Body's always in the now moment. Oh
Hey,
man,
Tommy, can I ask a question real quick?
sure,
So you were saying earlier today that you don't believe in like spirit guides or ancestors, correct?
right. It depends how
So
you.
yeah, I'm
It, de-
just curious because I feel like sometimes I've been like sent messages and who's sending them and it's just always like, oh, it's a spirit guide, it's an ancestor. But you're just saying it's just a different aspect of myself then?
Absolutely,
Okay, that's
absolutely
interesting.
right. And usually, like for me, just traveling around the world and I'm talking to somebody, they're they're all talking about the same energy. I know this, but they're going to talk it from the way they grew up culturally. So just think if they wasn't born in that culture, but another one, they'll be talking like the people over here, even though I know they're talking the same thing.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
culturally for me, it's not anything anybody talked about, so it's all like new and different for me. So I'm very
right,
open.
right. But even though nobody talked to you about it, you still went that direction that I received this message from somebody. So it did come to you some type of way, not just directly, just from the culture, just from
Hmm.
the culture. And if we want to talk about ancestors, okay, the closest we could say is the ancestors is in you. Epigenetics. Your
Hmm.
information came from your parents, your parents' parents. There's that chart that's real fascinating. It'll start out, you've got two parents, then you got 4 grams, then you got
Yeah,
just
that
going back,
exponential growth. Yeah.
yeah, but all of that information is in you,
Okay. Yeah.
all of it. And you could be having habits, not just the way you look, from somebody in that line. Matter of
Hmm.
fact, I seen one time I had a retreat, and this one woman said she had something to share with me. And she's a vegan, but she said for a long time she didn't understand why she liked barbecue ribs. On the side, why I like barbecue ribs. Now she grew up adopted. So when she got older, she went to go track down her mother. Her father, she could never find him, but she tracked down her mother, and her mother already passed away. So she met her mother's sister, which is her aunt. And her aunt brought up out of nowhere, boy, your mother used to sure love barbecue ribs. Still got the information. Or I could go
Yeah.
on with these stories. I've seen it. And there was one woman who was really addicted to chocolate. Yeah. I mean, really bad. Now, everybody will say they like chocolate. I remember one time we was walking down the street and all of a sudden I was talking and I was like, where is she? She ain't beside me no more. She was stuck at this chocolate window. That's how bad it was. But she said it came from when she was growing up. Her father used to always eat chocolate desserts. This is what she said. Now her son is addicted to chocolate, and she ain't even raised him that way. This is wild, ain't it? So there's
Hmm.
some people on this breathtaking journey. We're not even dealing with things that is from us. You're also dealing with energy pathways that came from generations before us
Hmm.
because we're all one entity. This is what we're trying to say. I'm all right. Nothing's wrong with me. Nah, nah. We ain't saying nothing wrong, but you're cleaning up a lot of stuff. So that's what they mean by stopping generational curses.
Right.
And I had this one group where this girl said there was something where she had real bad asthma and it ran in her family. But when she started doing energy work, changing her life, it corrected it. But when she had her baby, they don't have it.
Hmm.
And that stopped the curse. Like they say, being overweight, this is what my niece told me, being overweight runs in the family. And I said, well, I'm not overweight. I was, but I'm not now. But I said, but you're right. Running does not run in the family.
Mm-hmm.
The point. You have a certain lifestyle you picked up from the people around you. And it's going to keep going until somebody makes some changes. So when I started making changes for health, and then pretty soon one of my sisters said, man, the whole healthiest people in the family is you and your son. We changed the whole lifestyle, changed the ship. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is how it's working. Oh man, this is good. So that's what we mean by, the ancestors and the spirits. We use those as training wheels. Because ultimately, if you saying everything is one, see, this is how you challenge your own belief system. 1 minute a person, everything is one, there's only consciousness. But then they're saying all of these other entities is out there. And there's this war going on. Satan over here, just this big adversary coming against the one that made everything. Didn't he make that too? It start getting stupid. But if, like in a Kabbalah, they do got a meditation they give a student to meditate on. Now, they don't give it to them right away. You'll have to be in the training for a while. But when they give it to them, there is no one else besides him. So it can train your mind. There's no one else besides him. Now, what that means is there's only one source, one entity, and that's it. So whatever's going on in your life, there's really no duality, me against them. Because for something to come against you, it came from the same source. So you're training now with that thought process so you can try to see, what do you need to be seeing? What do you need to be hearing? Because it's all about your growth. Matter of fact, what's his name? Pike, of the Freemasons in America. He wrote a book, his second one. Now, people misinterpreted what he was saying. That's why people were saying the Freemasons, they do Satan worship. You probably heard that and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
But they get that from Pike's writing. And all it was one little sentence. But they misinterpreted. What he was saying, Lucifer just means bright one. And it's not an adversary against God. This is what he's saying. It's not an adversary. It's just another mode of thought. You have the power to either bring something into the light or bring it into the darkness. You just have that power. That's what he was saying, basically. But it's not an adversarial force. So this knowledge goes way back. It's still the same game from ancient times. It's still the same game from ancient times. And the breatharian knowledge ain't new. This is all part of it. So when you see these Freemason buildings all over the place, none of the knowledge is hidden. It's all on the internet. This ain't new. But people don't understand what they're looking at, or they think it's some type of game. It was always about energy work. Whoever controls the energy controls the masses. It's a mind. Oh, this is wild, ain't it? It always been like, but now we're in the age it's out there for everybody.
Yeah. So, all right, then I've got one more random question, and it's just random. But so how, as a breatharian, would you celebrate? If you've got like something to celebrate, something good going on, I mean, everything is either like drinking or cake or desserts. So what are some other ways to celebrate?
Oh, well, first of all, don't be hard on yourself starting out. Because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not going to, you went too extreme, and nobody wants to be with the lame at the party.
Right, right.
If anything, wait in the car and be the designated driver. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So what I've had to do, in other words, pick my battles wisely, if I was to use those terms. So I got my friends I grew up with, and they still hook up watching Super Bowls, doing this and that. But they would tell you he'll show up about twice a year. Now in their life, they hooking up every weekend. This cycle's going on. Boom, 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 boom. But me, it's less frequent. Not that you don't love them, but you're living a different lifestyle. Now, when I do hook up with them, I don't do everything they do, but I do some things to give them that time to bring it together. I hope this makes sense.
Oh
Because
yeah.
one thing, body is so powerful. If it's sitting up here getting rid of stuff now and you're eating every day, oh my gosh, it's really, some things don't mean nothing. It'll go straight through.
Oh
So
yeah.
you're like, but you're also bringing everybody together. Now, I remember one time my aunt was having her first birthday party because her birthday's in the wintertime, so she never really had a birthday party. And now she's having one, and here I come to show up. Now I got to think about this. How am I going to fit in? Now, of course, they got the big meal because she wanted to go to this favorite restaurant. Now, do I got to partake in what they're doing? No. What I did was I ordered a ice cream and a pitcher of juice. That goes to the system faster. But this is what it did energetically. All of a sudden, the whole family came around me. See, before you're playing that game like I'm so holy and divine, I'm way over here, and people don't know how to take. You blend it in, and that's the energy force. I had to teach somebody that one time. They got a family, children, but they want to be a breatharian to separate themselves. I said, as that time period is going on, won't you pick 1 or 2 days a week to eat with your family to keep it together? You got to use common sense. He said, this really helped me because it was getting tore up. Now, there's some people who don't want to listen. Oh, it's sad too. He even was trying to go celibate, but yet and still he's married. That it wasn't long till I didn't hear from him for a while. That I saw him on social media looking for a house to go live, but it ain't with his family. You see, don't let these
Hmm.
things, if anything, it should bring it together. You're the catalyst to make that happen. Not saying it's your job, but that's what we're
Yeah.
talking. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, I have a million questions on that. Just relationships and family and everything. But well, I just, how do you know what if it's a toxic situation? And honestly, right now where I'm at is, I mean, I just feel like it's my personal responsibility to work on myself so that
yeah,
there's no toxicity. But
right.
then what, yeah.
That's what
So then I just
you're.
struggle with having a partner,
Yeah,
where yeah, you're right. Like I'm doing all this work and she's just living a normal life, and that's totally fair. Like,
right,
so it's just hard for me to then reconcile those differences sometimes, or feel
right.
like there is that common ground.
And that happens to a lot of people. Now, there's one couple that I've seen really had it worked out. And this guy, he's actually a yoga teacher. He teaches Tai Chi. He's from India. He got this little advanced diet. But his wife eat everything under the sun. Don't exercise, but they accept one another. But this is what I started laughing so hard. There's times she get jealous of him.
Right.
How can he have that discipline like that? I don't have that. But there's times that we don't know this. There's times he get jealous of her. I just wish I could let go.
Right.
See what I'm getting at?
Oh yeah.
It goes back and forth until you
Okay.
just you're at. It ain't about pushing it and accept where everybody else is at. Now, as you be longer into the game, because I'm talking about when you're starting out, you don't want to just shut that door. But as you get stronger in the game and people recognize you and stuff like this, you ain't got to play at all. You know, saying let me pitch in. Everybody start establishing, and that's a
Yeah.
whole nother. So the last time I was home with family and friends,
Mm.
it was around Christmas season. I showed up, and it was just everybody. Just that was one of the best times. They're doing what they're doing, blah, 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 I'm doing, but we're conversating now. It went somewhere else. But first, it
Yeah.
started gradually, slowly, instead of jumping from here to here. Because you know
Yeah.
how family could be tough. You come and say you're this,
Oh man, yeah. I've been on this for about 8 years now. And yeah, there's so much tension early on where people are like, what are you doing now? It's like, look, I don't know what to tell you. I feel called. I don't know what to tell you, but it's who I
A
am now. Deal with it.
lot of tension in the beginning. And after a while, they
Yeah.
started, yeah, that's how it works. Oh, man. Now somebody sent something to me yesterday dealing with, well, Frederick sent it, dealing with the, have you ever heard of the CIA papers?
If it
But
comes from a three-letter organization, I don't really listen to it too much. FBI, CIA, they're releasing what they want.
uh, well, this one is real key. Sometimes
Yeah.
they tell, now, anyway, to give you the background story, because we'll talk more about it in the next classes. This morning, I'm just going to give you a review of it. But this is real important. And you can actually download it. You know, there's like 36 papers. But how it came about to show you that this knowledge is all the same, it ain't like they made up nothing new. But since our external technology increased back in the 70s, because keep in mind, back in the early 70s, the 60s, late 60s, that's where meditation started hitting America. Different gurus started to come through, this started to happen. And they didn't catch all the masses, but they had followings. That's where it started to come through America. A lot of stuff began to happen. And going into the 80s. But anyway, when these movements came, our external technology rose too. So this guy named Dr. Monroe, he decided to use the technology to really see what meditation is about. Now we can monitor it instead of just guessing what is an aura, does it exist, blah, blah, blah. What is actually taking place when a person is meditating? So he started the Monroe Institute, it's in America, and they began to monitor this stuff. The CIA caught a hold of it because he started coming out with some amazing stuff on his findings. So the CIA actually gave them some of their people that take them through the training, and it was called the Hemisync Gateway Experiment. Now, hemisync just means hemispheres, the two hemispheres of the brain, sync, meaning they're synced up. That is key on what we're teaching on the breath theory and knowledge. This is why meditation is the foundation. The hemisync gateway. Gateway, of course, you're opening up a door. Without that door being open, that's not going to happen. But anyway, I'll just give you this background. We will go over some of the stuff they said. This was back in 1983, over 40 years ago, 41 years ago. Now, of course, being a military branch or whatever, they classified the material from 1983 to 2003. So that means it went behind closed doors, the papers. So the papers resurfaced in 2003. And here it is, 2024, which is 21 years later after that. And a lot of people are seeing these papers on what they saw. So it's like this experiment's been done over 40 years ago. But I taught this in classes also because people on a breatharian journey need to hear this. They act like we're not making them. Why meditate? Can I just fast my way in? No, you're starving yourself. No, you need a stronger vessel and the two hemispheres of the brain synced up so it can bring a bigger vibration on the body. You see, they got things like the tornado field, the torus field,
Mm-hmm.
how the energy comes in and out of the body, and not just the body, but also the planet. So this
Mm-hmm.
is what's created, a bigger one. They got the energy coming from the heart, and this next one is showing you the universal hologram. See, this hologram and stuff, we in the 2000s now, 20s. This ain't just come out. They was talking that back in the 80s. See, when I
Mm-hmm.
teach knowledge around the world, I'm basically telling people you're late. Truth was always hidden in plain sight. And there was some guy that said something real key yesterday that he was talking about because he was part of the Freemasons, or still is, but he's breaking the myth from it. And like we're saying, all information, it ain't hitting them no secrets. It's already out there. People don't know what they're looking at. He said if you was to like the 33 degree, which really don't exist like that, it's just 3 degrees. But anyway, he said even if you was to write it out and gave it to somebody, they wouldn't even know how to use it. And it's simple everyday stuff. And that makes sense. When I was in India, somebody said, "Oh, Elitom, this is your next level." And it was just a little book talking about virtue. That seems simple enough. Now, I didn't understand it, I had to admit. And I knew this. So I put it to the side till it's ready. Just a little book. You think I'll be, no, the mind had to, it really got to capture what's being said. Other than that, it'll take it for granted. Now, since 3 years later, now I'm ready to pick it up. It's making sense. But before I wasn't ready for it. So it's the knowledge, it works. It's strange how it works. People will be like, if you just tell me, no, it don't work like that. You gotta work, roll with it. Oh man.
A lot of my early energetic work was, cleansing organs to bring in virtuous energies. So if you say there's a short book on virtue out there, that's interesting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And they was getting deep on it. Well, of course, that's part of it, what you just said, but it's more than just physical. Your mind is a tool, it's a vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Just like Mike was saying, a situation come, it's still in your hands on which way you're going to take it or how you're going to handle it.
Okay. Yeah.
Bottom line. Oh man. Now,
Okay.
listen at what they're saying here. But they'll talk about all these abilities that could come from it. So the CIA is telling you this out of all people. But hold on. Like I said, I'll talk about more of this. Now they start out by saying, now that we have briefly profiled the basic mechanics of the principal techniques for altering or expanding consciousness, which shares some of the objectives and or methods employed in the gateway experience. So they're talking about methods and techniques to alter or expand your consciousness. There's methods and techniques. And that's what spirituality is all about, expanding your consciousness. Expanding your consciousness, methods and techniques. And in this document, they don't have nothing about fasting nor diet changes. People got to understand this. See, after we get done with our technique we about to do, it's more than just a feeling. You just expanded or altered your consciousness. Something that simple. But you got to look at it differently now than before, so you won't take it for granted. That's why knowledge, you got to really understand what's taking place. So you need a new consciousness or an expanded consciousness if you want to function totally different than you are now. That's bottom line at the end of the day. You can believe till you blue in the face. That's why a person must learn these techniques to expand or alter their consciousness. You need more gamma waves built up, all of this. But now listen to what they say. People say, how long, how long? And I'll be like, oh, don't let it scare them. Now listen to what they say. Studies conducted by Elmer and Alice Green at the Menninger Foundation have shown that a subject with 20 years of training in Zen meditation could consistently establish hemisync at will. A student who practiced Zen meditation training for 20 years, their brain can sync up at will. That's why I was going over yesterday, giving you that time. All right, if you were to do every day this year, that's 365 times. But is that enough to sync up your brain at will? You'll have periods of it, but we
So
talking
then how
about,
would we know if it's synced up?
oh man, we're gonna go over all of this.
Okay.
And sometimes it happens on its own without the technique, but it just don't last long.
Right.
All right, so at will, sustaining it for at least 15 minutes. Now, this focusing of energy is not unlike the yoga concept of one-pointedness, which we may translate in Western terms as single-mindedness. But let's go back to Zen meditation, because I've been saying this, the main meditations, because also they're using this thing, Zen meditation, but they also use the word transcendental meditation. In a way, they're the same thing. That's the meditation where you're getting into your body. That's why I'm showing everybody Qigong. They're all the same. Instead of staying outside of your body, you're letting it cleanse itself with the energy, because that is consciousness. But transcendental just means to transcend something. See, most people think they want to become one with nature. You're already nature. You're trying to transcend nature. Nature don't care about us. Or did I say this? Yeah. That's a bold one, ain't it? Mosquitoes don't is after you for a meal. Ants. I know, I'm over here in Africa traveling through it. I know. Poisonous snakes, poisonous plants, dangerous ants,
Hurricanes.
dangerous thunderstorms, weather changes. Oh man, a lot of people got a dream to be all sustainable. Why ain't they? They find out it's different than what they thought it was going to be. This isn't Garden of Eden like that. But if you transcend it, where you are not dependent on it, that's a different ballgame. Then you got the ability to do that. That's what they're saying. It's nature that's bringing you back into it, to the grave. See, religion's been talking about it. You're catering to the earth energies, you're working hard for the earth energies, and pretty soon you're going back to the earth. And nature, like I said, they put sex in you so you can reproduce and bring you more people. One esoteric master said, what did he say? The ground you standing on is dead people. Oh man. So this is what they've been saying. You're trying to transcend nature. So that's a bold move. Now, to read one more thing to you, but we're going to read more about this. How do you do it? See, this is why I appreciate them. They got the science down to a T. Talking about your blood flow, the aorta, how the sound vibration comes up the spinal cord, all of this. How long would it take? All of this. But we're about to go through that experience now, but you need it explained to you. You start appreciating it more. It's hard for a lot of people to stay with meditation. They don't know what's taking place, and this is too long, and la la la. And then it's easy to get caught into. They got a thing called chemical spirituality. And that speaks for itself. Mushrooms, ayahuasca, it gets them there faster, but yet still when they come back, they didn't transcend nothing.
Right.
Oh,
You got to
man.
come down.
Then you could get in the cycle addicted to that. I've seen people who did it. Now this other one, oh man, there's so much here. Oh, and then this other part, and they basically telling us all this esoteric knowledge. This is the CIA writing this. The classic description of the universal hologram is to be found in the Hindu Sutra, which says, in the heaven of Indra, there is said to be a network of pearls so arranged that if you look at one, you will see all others reflected in it. But what they're saying is, this is a hologram we're living in. So like they say, you'll go to a pond and you'll see somebody who got a pamphlet telling you everything about the pond. Now, did they go all through the pond to get all that information? All they did was got a little pond water out of it. But by them studying that little bit of pond water in a bucket, they was able to tell you everything about the pond. I hope that makes sense. Same with a forest. You ain't got to go do every little spot in the forest. Grab the little spots, study it, then you can do a whole write-up on the whole forest. But they're saying the same about the human being. You're the microcosm of the macrocosm. So that's why a lot of you'll hear a lot of people who made breakthroughs in human civilization. You always hear they was part of some secret society or this and that. They probably was. It wasn't nothing spooky. They had this knowledge. This knowledge is new to the masses. This is new, even though it's been here for a long time. Mm-hmm. But anyway, how Einstein said, you can sit back in a room and have a thought experiment telling you about the universe. And a lot of stuff he did do thought experiments. Ain't nobody, he ain't take a spaceship riding around. The answer was here. Oh man, see what we're talking about? Because it's just a mirror image of itself. The big is in the small is in the big, boom, 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 boom. So these are trainings again. But again, the CIA went through all of this to break it down, put it behind classified papers. Now it's back on the scene. Some people's catching it. But even then, I know a friend who actually went to this course. And you would think it would have advanced them. So that just means because there's knowledge out there that somebody really could grasp it. As I talked to them, they still really couldn't grasp it. You know, the importance of it. Oh, I've been to that institute. You know why? And I've seen it plain as day. Spirituality did mess a lot of people up. Because she's one of those people that if she's in the group, she's the one that must have the biggest spiritual experience. You ever meet people like that? When we was meditating. Oh, I've seen a lot of stuff. All right, how was the experience? Yeah. I saw Babaji across the room. Okay. Right, you'll meet these people. And they love playing that game because you can get away with it because nobody will question it in spirituality.
Okay, yeah. I'm usually feeling bad when I hear people like that because I'm like, I was just sitting here. Okay, you know.
Yeah. Real.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation one day where she contradicted herself when I caught her, but she said, well, because it's fun. She likes playing that game. And a lot of people, they caught on. So in other words, they can lie and get away with it, but they will make themselves seem the most spiritual. Oh, so that's why it's good to learn the science behind the breatharian knowledge again. And like I said, that's just breatharian knowledge is just, how should I say? That's a prerequisite on what you want to do with the energy. When we get into the Gateway Project, they're telling you about what? Out-of-body experiences and stuff like this, telling you what it really means. Yeah, they got all of that there. But it all deals with this brain syncing up again. Other than that, the vessel don't have enough power. It ain't that the universe is judging you saying this and that. You got to sync this up. This is like a dipole antenna. And it says you affect, oh man, so I got to go over to see, I got all of these papers. That shows I taught it before. And it shows that you affect all the way up to the ionosphere, because you got different hemispheres of the atmosphere, what the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere. You affect way up to the ionosphere. So you can affect going around the world with a thought. They even got that down in seconds. This is how powerful we are. So the whole game again of humanity just gave their power away. They don't know this. Even though it's in your face, that's why nobody feels guilty. I'm not oppressing you. Yeah, that's the game, and people get away with it. I'm just doing that. Why can't you? So ain't no what goes around comes around. You did it to yourself. That's basically what, but everybody, that's what the game is. Oh man, this is good. So any more questions before we cultivate? La la
I think I'm good.
la.
Thank you, Elitom.
Yeah, Elitom, I'm looking forward to cultivating, but after, I would love to hear a bit about your experience in the cave that was mentioned the other day.
Oh man, I have already the cave life. All right, we're going to go into that. That was awesome. Would I ever do that again?
Thank you.
Yeah, it'll come up soon. All right, let's go ahead and cultivate. Get you a good position. La la la. And we're gonna start on our neck and slowly make nice, good circles going clockwise. Nice and relaxed, nice and easy flow. That's good. Now let's reverse it. Breathe. And that's good. Now let's go to the shoulders. Make nice full circles going forward. Breathe. And now let's go backwards. One shoulder at a time going forward. Now let's go backwards. Breathe. And that's good. Now, feet past the shoulders, hands on the hips. We make nice full circles going clockwise. Loosen up all that stress and tension. And now let's go the other direction. Breathe. And that's good. Now let's put the feet together. Knees slightly bent. Rub the hands together. Hands on the knees. And slowly go clockwise. Now the other direction. Breathe. And let's go in and out going forward. And now let's go backwards. And that's good. It's not my favorite. One hand in the front, one in the back. Let's go swimming in the ocean of energy. Breathe. Now let's go backwards, reverse it. Now let's swoop down and grab that energy and channel it up the spinal cord. And that's good. Now, it's your good position to just stand straight up and down. Allow your own body structure to hold you up. Now slowly twist the body back and forth, allow the arms to slap the body. Breathe. And that's good. Now that you're a good seat, continue to sit down, Qigong. Just sync up the brain. Alter our consciousness. Hands facing each other on the thighs. Spine nice and straight. Relax into it and breathe. Slowly go to the second position, like you're holding a giant beach ball. Under the shoulders. Relax into it and breathe. Slowly bring the hands together, right in front of the chest. Relax into it and breathe. And slowly channel the energy throughout the body and move slowly. It's a lot of power. Breathe. Slowly move the body with the energy. And the stiffness in the body, slowly move into it. Breathe. Now just sit and relax into the energy. Listen to the body. Keep the body moving slowly. Move into it. Breathe. Breathe. Now you can scan the body with the hands. Uh, Somebody's knocking at the door. Just keep going. 1 minute, just keep going. Let me help these people with this. Un momento. Okay, you're good. All right. All right, slowly bring the hands all the way up again. Just relax into it and breathe. Breathe. Slowly bring the hands together again in front of the chest. Namaskar position. Just relax and breathe. 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 And slowly bring the hands palms up. Just lay them on your thighs and relax into it. Breathe, just like you're receiving. Relax even more. Relax the shoulders. Relax the chest. Relax the muscles in the face. Breathe. Relax even more. Relax the abdomen. Relax the hips. Relax the legs. So we take the hands, move the energy up the spinal cord all the way up. Breathe. Slowly come around with the hands, make a nice ball. Powerful energy, working on it. Day by day, in and out. And the main goal now from here until next practice, whenever you decide to practice, or is what you're going to do in between. That's going to determine how good the practice will be. It's okay to eat, but when are you going to eat? Give yourself time for next practice. How much? Would there be exercise in between? Get good, clear thought, positive thought process until next time. It's all about that. Boom, boom, boom. Working with the light. So now we can rub the hands together. Give yourself a nice energy shower. Oh, that felt good. My crown chakra's itching. And it should. Influx of energy is coming up. Oh, that felt good. Whew, how everybody feeling? Oh man. Deep theta state. Now the question was asked this morning, how do you know when the two hemispheres of the brain are synced up? Now we're going to go over the science of it later on this evening, step by step of what's taking place with the physical body. However, I'm going to tell you something that most people don't know. In yoga, they got what you call the three gunas. The three gunas. And what that is three modes of thought. Three modes of thought. And everybody has these three modes of thought. And your thought goes along with your breath. And your breath is determined by the mood of the body. So that's why they say you got 5 bodies. A food body, an air body, a thought body, an intellectual body, and an energy body. And they all coordinate off of each other, meaning you are what you eat. You are what you eat. And what you eat affects the air body, which is your breath. How much affects your breath? Next is the thought body. What you eat affects the breath, and the way you breathe determines your thoughts. Next is the intellectual body. How much do you really know? To act like knowledge don't mean nothing. That's what they gave spiritual people today, but a true spiritual person is a scientist. We as humans have done some fabulous things to make it this far. It was due to this mind. Your greatest tool. So your intellectual body, and you can upgrade it. But that also tells a lot about your thought body, your air body, your physical body, which is your food body. It all depends on your intelligence. And then you got your energy body. All of this affects the energy coming off the body. And vice versa, the energy body affects all the rest of them. So they all coordinate off of each other, but everybody has them. But anyway, that famous picture we see all the time is somebody in the yogic position and the chakras lit up, coming down the spine. Then you got these 2 zigzag lines coming upwards. The Sushumna, the middle one, the Ingala, and the Pingala. Ingala for the left side, Ida for the left side, Pingala for the right side. Side of what? The nostrils. Even though they're coming up, making these zigzags, they both go through the nostrils. Through the nostrils, to the third eye, and then come up. And And remember we said that chakras really don't exist, but it's points on the body that has a whole lot of interest. However, I'm going to tell you this, and you can see it, experiment yourself. Throughout the day, every day, you either will be breathing out of one nostril over the other. And depending on what nostril you're breathing out of is determining your mood and your thoughts. Which one is stronger? So one is called the Taja state, the Raja state, or the Tama state, the Raja state, and the Sattva state. So the left side, and both of these deals with our evolution. We are evolved beings. And we're still evolving. You have to be. We're living in a time now that never been here on this planet before, but your body's still taking it. You didn't die right away. Your body will figure out ways to exist and live. You got so many radio waves in you now, it's pathetic. Born into it. But you can't judge it as good or bad. You're still living. You're still evolving. Change always takes place. But what a creature cannot change quick enough with the changes that's happening in the atmosphere, it goes extinct. So anyway, dealing with our evolution, we got the mineral kingdom. There is a mineral kingdom. And it's more slow. It's slow. And do we come from the mineral kingdom? Of course we did. We're part of all the evolution that took part of this planet. So when you're breathing predominantly out of the left side, you tend to be lazy, put things off, procrastinate. And by you breathing out of the left side predominantly, that shows you that breath has something to do with our thinking and our mood. Well, most people don't even realize it, because you start becoming aware of this. When you're in predominantly the right side, which is the Raja state, breathing out of there, this more dominant, you're more into your animal state. You're going from the mineral to the animal. It's more fiery, aggressive, overdoing things, all this other stuff. Now. So that's coming out of the right side of the nostril. That shows you again, breathing affects the way you think and your mood. So you got both of these states of consciousness. But the Sattva state, now we just went through our practice. Your breathing changed. We ain't even do no breath work, but we did. And it won't happen every practice, but now you can start looking forward to it. It should if you properly not eating nothing right before practice and all of this, you will start seeing it every time. You'll be breathing out of both nostrils after a practice. You'll be breathing out of both nostrils after a practice. And that's called the Sattva state. And that's a state you'll feel more harmonious, blissful, and at peace. And it's determined by your nostrils. And that's an indication that the Ingala and Pingala channels is both open simultaneously. And if they're open simultaneously, how they cross over, see this hat I even got on is symbolic, the two hemispheres of the brain. So everything I do means something. That means that they're synced up. Because usually the average human being is not synced up. One part of the brain is doing one function compared to the other. Now it's working as a whole, but they do two different processes. We're going to talk about that later on. Not to throw too much at you. So that's one indication. You know at that moment, the hemispheres of your brain are synced up. So that's why we tell people, not just before a practice, don't eat or drink nothing. Don't eat or drink nothing after a practice. Why? so you can enjoy the sattva state. Enjoy this feeling for a minute. You learn to sit into it longer and longer. So you might not eat or drink nothing for half an hour after a practice. Then it'll start going to 45 minutes. Then it'll start going to an hour. Why? So you can enjoy the sattva state. Enjoy that mode of thought. Then when you start playing with the big boys and big girls, they don't eat or drink nothing 3 hours before and 3 hours after a practice. So you can have 3 hours of enjoying that sattva state. Now there's 24 hours in a day. Let's look at this. That's why yoga ain't got us to talk about being a breath in. Like I said, we humans, especially the Western mind, just have the powers. So you wake up in the morning, let's say 6 o'clock. And it's probably good to do your practice. I like writing down charts. Now, where's my other pen? Anyway, do your practice because you just woke up, so you ain't eat nothing. So good practice. So you'll probably practice for an hour, 7 o'clock. But then you want to keep enjoying that sattva state. So if anything, you probably eat something at 10 in the morning, if anything. Woke up at 6, did your practice. You waited 3 hours. I'm just talking about light, and I ain't telling you to jump to 3 hours right now. I know somebody's going to do that. I'm trying to do it. You don't want to burn yourself out. There's no need. You'll grow into it. But I'm just giving you a thing what yoga is really talking about. Wake up at 6 in the morning. Say they start their practice at 7 to 8. Then 3 hours after that, it's 11 a.m. That's where they probably get something to eat. 11 a.m., even though they've been up 6 in the morning. But since they ate something at 11 a.m., say they ate from 11 to 12 noon, they're going to do a practice again later on, but it'll at least have to be 3 hours after they ate. So 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So it'll be 3 p.m. They're doing their practice again. They didn't eat nothing 3 hours before. They practice went from 3 to 4. So from 4 o'clock, if they do eat, it'll have to be at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Now, some people get so radical. 7 p.m. seems kind of too late. Yeah, some people that's too late. The sun already went down. That's if it's that type of season. So they might choose not to eat at that time. So if anything, this person on this schedule, they'll probably eat, well, this is why they got intermittent fasting. This person probably eat once a day. And that's just doing the practice 2 times a day. If they eat twice a day, there'll be small portions, but it'll be ready for the next portion. That's yoga. Or is this making sense? See, fasting is within that schedule. I don't know why this Western mind, I think that's the only mind that went into thinking they purifying themselves by seeing how long they could do. Yeah, I've been around the world, I didn't see that. Oh man. Because they want to outdo everybody. It's really radical. So now Western mind is a radical mind. It got its good qualities. Everything's here for a reason. It just need to be properly patient, cool down. This is what's happening. You ain't going to jump from here to here. Oh man. And if a person can accept that, they will go far. But if they don't, life goes on. So, okay, we had a good practice. Now I ended up by talking about my cave experience somebody asked about, which was an awesome experience in life. I never imagined when I was growing up that I would once be living in a cave. Never imagined. So I was in the Canary Islands, and the Canary Islands is between Spain and Morocco. There's 7 islands, and I was on La Palma, the 7th island. Knew a friend there, and I just went to go visit. But then they said, there's caves, people live in caves here. And I said, what? I need to go see one. So she took me to a friend of hers that did live in a cave, and I was really impressed. And of course, every cave is different. And so about a year later, I came back like clockwork, found a nice cave. And that was a good experience, being there with walls made of rock. This is a cave. The energy, and it went downwards to my cave. So my bed, I just had a mattress, big mattress, and you could lay on it. Now the question that comes up, what about animals and critters? Now, as I was having my cave experience, I'll meet somebody on the island and they say, oh yeah, when I first moved here, I was living in a cave or whatever. And they'll say out of their mouth, but one thing I didn't like was critters. One thing I didn't like is critters. It didn't kick in at first. Well, I'm glad I don't have that problem. And I heard it from another person. Then I realized what they meant. Now, outside of my cave, there was a rat that lived there. Now, I knew he lived there because I've seen him a couple times, but he never came into the cave. He stayed outside where his house was. He had his own house, his own cave. So it wasn't no problem. But how the people was talking, man, it was a problem. Until I went down to my friend's house who lived below the cave. And of course, she had 3 children, animals, dogs, all the rats and critters were there. Literally, because that's where the food is at. I seen a 5-year-old dropping the crumbs all out of the mouth, and I seen a mouse come by, pick it up and go. That's where they at. They just hanging out where the food was at. So then I understood, oh, I'm not having no problems because I ain't got no food up here. Oh. And I wonder I could keep my mattress on the floor, lay on the floor, don't got to worry about nothing crawling up. Yeah. Animals are smart. Why should we be in there wasting our time and all the food is down there? It's like that everywhere you go. But anyway, now the view is something that you'll see in National Geographic. Never imagined seeing this because it was up on a mountain too. Now, on one side of the mountain, when I look over, there was big valleys, and then you'll see the town or the city way off. You can see the city this way. It's going inland. But on the other side, coming right out of my door of the cave, was the Atlantic Ocean. You can't beat that. The Atlantic Ocean. But however, I would have never had that experience if I wasn't a breatharian. Now, I could have, but it would have been a total different experience. This one, by being a breatharian, you can leave right away and you don't need much. All my clothes was on my back still, just like today. There's no rush. So once again, that was an awesome energetic experience, and the growth just whoop, 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 whoop. You're up there on the mountain and all of this. And then there's days the beach is down here. So there's times I'll get bored of the mountain energy. So I go down to get the beach energy. 2 different energies. Then there's times the beach energy, I've had enough. I'll go back to the mountain energy. Exchanging. 2 different atmospheres. 2 different phases on the body, but it's all good. So that's one thing. That there's something else you want to know about the cave experience. Like I said, would I ever do it again? Well, of course. At that location, it has to be another one. The reason being, I like new locations. So even then, I was saying, I'll be back to the Canary Islands, and I haven't been back since that experience. So you never know that you'll come back to. So, but if you ever get an experience of like to take a hiatus, as you call it, go for it. You don't got to be a long, short time to be with yourself and really get out there. If you can do it, do it. And I don't mean you got to be total food free. However, it'll pay if you condition yourself to eat less. It will pay if you can condition yourself to eat less. You'll have a better time, believe me. Because what I see on the world, people who got very little and poverty and this and that, it's a mindset for number one. And for number two, it's the addiction of something that's killing them. If they didn't have certain addictions, they'll be more comfortable. That's wild, ain't it? So any questions? Going once, going twice. Testing 1, 2, 3. The day where I'm at, school's open. So it'll be a day with the kids running around. But this is good. We'll meet later and we'll get back on the wave again and we'll talk more about the HemiSync Gateway project. And then we'll talk about what's taking place physically to the body when you relaxing and start meditating. A lot is taking place. This is like a bio machine. Straight up. You got to know how to use it. They can do some fascinating things when a person starts using it for that intention. All right. So once again, this has been a good session once again. Keep up the good work and peace and blessings. Have the best day or night.
Thanks, Elitom.